the Department of Social Services, in conjunction with the National Child Protection Council and SCAN, celebrates April with the international community as Child Protection Month under the theme, Protecting Children in a Changing World. So at this time, various activities are planned to raise child abuse awareness, and this year is an exception. And one of the activities, as Pastor Higgins already mentioned, is Blue Ribbon Sunday. So the department has long recognized the invaluable partnership that exists between the government, the church, and the community, and it's making a cognizant effort for all parties to work together effectively. So again, all services this morning, as well as those services for Seventh-day Adventists, are dedicating a small portion of their service to Blue Ribbon Sunday or Saturday for the Adventists. So I'm going to tell you now how the Blue Ribbon began. Child Abuse Awareness Month first began in 1983, but the Blue Ribbon symbolizing child abuse awareness did not appear until 1989. This is the story behind the Blue Ribbon. This is a story about Bonnie Finney, a woman who wanted to remember her grandchildren and all children who have suffered from abuse. Bonnie Finney is the one who inspired the Blue Ribbon Child Abuse Awareness Campaign. Bonnie Finney was a grandmother from Virginia. Her daughter was in a relationship that was riddled with trouble, and she suspected heavy drugs. Many times she tried to help her daughter to leave the relationship, and even tried bringing her back home. As in the case of many unhealthy relationships, her daughter continually returned to live with her husband. Bonnie's daughter had 3 children during her marriage. The children were 4 years, 3 years, and 16 months old. Michael was Bonnie's grandson. He was taken from his home after he was admitted to the hospital with several bruises and cigarette burns on his body. He was placed in foster care for 3 weeks and was then returned home against his wishes. Bonnie never saw her grandson again. Months later, Bonnie's youngest granddaughter was admitted to the hospital. She had been severely beaten. Her leg was broken in 4 places and her hand was badly burned. The authorities stepped in, and it was then that it was discovered that Michael was missing. The search for Michael began. Eventually, his little body was found wrapped in a sheet and stuffed into a toolbox. He had been killed 3 months earlier. Bonnie made a statement. My grandchildren had suffered and battled so much through their young lives that it sickened me. In remembrance of her grandson, Bonnie tied a blue ribbon to her van antenna. The media caught onto her idea and spread the word. When Bonnie was asked why she chose the color blue, she said, I never intend to forget the battered, bruised bodies of my grandchildren. Bruises are black and eventually blue. Therefore, blue serves as a constant reminder to me to fight for our children. Blue ribbon against child abuse. So let's continue to remember the last portion of this, of the blue ribbon message, that we need to constantly remember to fight for our children. The children have rights, whether you're a parent or not. Children have rights to health care. They have rights to living in an adequate living space that meets their necessities. They have rights to a childhood, and they have rights to, I can't remember all of the things that I'm speaking to from things that I'm remembering from the Convention of the Rights of the Child. So as we go throughout this week, let's remember to keep those things in mind, that throughout our lives, when you see things, especially as it pertains to children, don't turn a blind eye to it, because a lot of children are suffering, and persons are, when they know what's going on, because they don't want to go against the family or they don't want to go against their friends, they don't speak out, they don't report things. And so as the week goes on, we have a speaker coming on Tuesday night. Pastor Apostle is going to tell you more about it. And she's going to elaborate more on what was said this morning. So thank you for your attention.